Other programming will not be seen due to the following sports special. The 68th Annual WIAA Boys State Basketball Tournament. Live from the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse in Madison. This sports exclusive is brought to you by Seiko and its authorized dealers. People trust Seiko more than any other watch. The American Dairy Association of Wisconsin, who remind you to look for the real seal. It's your assurance of real dairy food. The rural companies, ensuring the good life all over Wisconsin. The Wisconsin Bankers Association. Nobody does more for you than your local full-service bank. And by your Wisconsin and Upper Michigan Ford dealers, where you can register to win the all-new Ford Bronco 2.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jay Wilson, and welcome back to the 1983 WIAA State Boys Basketball Tournament. It's Championship Saturday, and we're set to bring you the first of 3 state championship games. We'll start it off with the Class C championship game with Fall Creek meeting defending state Class C champion Kohler. Immediately following that, we'll have the Class B championship between Mayville and Valders. Tip-off of that one scheduled at about 2:45. Then we'll take a break and come back tonight with the Class A championship game. That's at 7:30. That will feature Milwaukee Tech and Watertown. First, it's the Class C title game, Fall Creek and Kohler. On hand for the play-by-play is Ken Syke of WKOW-TV in Madison. Jim Nedelkoff, the head basketball coach at Southwestern High School, will be providing the analysis of that game. And in a moment, we'll go back to the UW Fieldhouse for the starting lineups and the opening tip-off, Fall Creek and Kohler for the Class C championship. First, though, let's take time out for these messages. This is your WIAA network station.
At least at this level.
And a pleasant good afternoon from the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse at Madison. We're ready for the Class C championship game between the Crickets of Fall Creek and the Blue Bombers of Kohler. This is Ken Syke along with Jim Nedelkoff. And Jim, in this Class C championship game, there's no doubt that there's a Class A nationally prominent player here, and that's Joe Wolf of Kohler. And you have to start any analysis of this game with a look at him. And the question is, can the Fall Creek Crickets, well, I don't think you can stop them, but can they match Kohler offensively?
Well, it's going to be a challenge, you know. Talking to Coach Schultz before the game, he's going to play his normal game, he said, and come out. But Joe Wolf, he's just a fabulous basketball player, and it'll be difficult. He's going to get his 20 or 30.
The interesting thing about Fall Creek, Brian Schultz has said, is that his team is strong inside with a front line of 6'7" Todd Logge, 6'3" Paul Henning, 6'1" Jim Steinke. They'll be going up against Wolf.
Yes, that's true. And yesterday Marathon found that out to be true, too, because, you know, Marathon basically an inside game. And they got the ball into Ferger the first 3 times down the court, and he turned it over. I don't know. When you're 6'10", and you got all the credentials that Joe Wolf's got, I don't know whether you can always attack them.
Well, we'll see that Kohler is a team of spurts, and it's very important for Fall Creek to get out to a good start. Defensively, do you try to stop Joe Wolf, or do you let him have his points?
Well, I think he's going to get his points. I mean, I think you got to stop the other people. You know, it's not just Joe Wolf. He's got 4 good basketball players playing with him.
Okay, Jim, we're just about set for the introductions, and we'll have the introductions of both full teams. And here with that is the public address announcer, Jack Ring.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the championship round of the 68th Annual WIAA Boys State High School Basketball Tournament. Introducing the Crickets of Fall Creek. Mark Buda, Dennis Deccan, Dwayne Deccan, Galen Schiefelbein, Pat Stewart, John Whitworth, Paul Zimmerman. And the starting lineup for the Fall Creek Crickets. At forward, a 6'1" senior, number 41, Jim Steinke. At forward, a 6'3" junior, number 55, Paul Henning. At center, a 6'7" junior, number 53, Todd Luggy. A guard, 5'11" senior, number 11, Scott Bursa. And another guard, a 6-foot senior, number 45, Jim Smith. Fall Creek coach, Ron Schultz. For the Blue Bombers of Kohler, number 34, Bob Hornick. Mike Kometer. Mike Moulter. Tim Soxie. Mike Spelling. Jeff Sienkiewicz. Chris Stevens. And the starting lineup for Kohler. A 6'1" senior forward, number 24, Mark Zimmerman. At forward, a 6-foot junior, number 30, Jeff Sorens. At center, a 6'10" senior, Joe Wolf. At the guard, the 5'11" senior, number 12, Jason Unger. And a 6-foot senior, number 10, Mike Dowse. Kohler coach, Paul Swanson.
So it's the Fall Creek Crickets. The Fall Creek Crickets against the Blue Bombers of Kohler. The officials for this afternoon's Class C championship game, Doug Conyers and Rod Ostrom, both gentlemen from the city of Onalaska, city that had a team here in the Class B championship or semifinal game yesterday. Unfortunately for Onalaska, they lost to Mayville 61-43, and it'll be Mayville against Valders in the Class B championship game following this one. But first, it's Kohler going for a second consecutive Class C state championship. And Fall Creek, well, they're in their first Class C championship game since 1937, some 46 years. And the Crickets get the ball off the opening tip. Inside quickly, overlay, but tipped in nicely by Steinke.
Kohler's in a man-to-man now. Fall Creek's in a 1-2-1-1 zone press.
Well, the Crickets do like to do that, but a traveling violation on Mike Dowse. So the Crickets, who got off to the slow start in yesterday's semifinal win, have done just the opposite here, at least in the first minute. Off to a good start. The Crickets 23-2 on the year. From the side, Steinke tipped outside nicely by Loggy and picked up by Burseth.
From talking to Coach Schultz, he said he was going to play with him, and he's certainly come today to play.
Loggy from the top of the key to the side. What kind of a defense is Kohler in here now?
Kohler's in a man-to-man.
With Wolf sagging down underneath. Steele, turnover against Fall Creek. And the Blue Bombers, first chance with the ball into the forecourt. Doused with a shot, in and out, rebound, put up, blocked. Wolf gathers the rebound again. He'll go up. His first shot is a miss. Look at Kohler battle for the boards, and Wolf finally tips it in. But Kohler, Wolf, and others dominating the offensive boards.
Kohler in a man-to-man press, full court, putting pressure on the ball.
And Zimmerman tips it away into the corner, feeds Unger. Like Kohler is not just the Joe Wolf team. Kohler takes the lead 4-2. And Unger, Jason Unger, a 5'11 senior, has a chance for a three-point play. See your Wisconsin Upper Michigan Ford dealer where you'll find the all-new Ranger, the truck of the 80s. Kohler leads 5-2. So it's 5 quick points in a row for the Blue Bombers, looking for their third state championship in the last 4 years. They also won it in 1980. Fall Creek turns it over again. Nice pass ahead to Doust. And he scores 7-2. And Ron Schultz quickly up to call a timeout. His team scored the first basket and then lost it. And so Kohler leads 7-2. A timeout for a word from the folks who sponsor this telecast. This is your WIAA network station. Back at the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse, Ken Syke along with Jim Nedelkoff, the head coach of Southwestern of Hazel Green, and just like that, Jim Kohler scores 7 quick points.
Well, same thing happened yesterday with Marathon, the turnovers, and again, you got to stay away from them, but people forget about the good defensive play that Kohler plays.
Well, Coach Paul Swanson of Kohler, as we see them continue with the full court press, Fall Creek breaks it into the forecourt, but he talks about one of his team's strengths overall is team defense. That involves the other 4 players besides Big Joe Wolf. From the side, Steinke's shot doesn't go. Inside, partially deflected by Wolf and pulled down by Soren. So the Blue Bombers with the 5-point lead, just underway in the first quarter Class C championship game from the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse. Wolf aggressively to the boards, picking up the loose change. Wolf tips it up again, and a foul underneath on number 41, Jim Steinke. Boy, the Blue Bombers really hit the offensive boards.
There it goes, and he gets fouled right there.
It's not just Wolf, it's Mark Zimmerman, Jeff Sorens, who also attacking the boards there offensively, and Fall Creek has not been able to limit Kohler at all. So the Blue Bombers out to Wolf, free throw line. He's fouled as he went up. You could see it on the arm, Scott Verseth, and it's the 3rd team foul on the Crickets in the act of shooting. So here he is, Joe Wolf, the 6'10 senior. Just to throw a couple stats at you, as it was judged to be a common foul. Surprising call and a steal. I thought he was in the act of shooting ahead to Brissett. He has it blocked beautifully by Jeff Sorens. Good play.
When Wolf goes underneath, they're fronting him, and then when he comes outside, looks to me like they're going to leave him have the ball.
Brissett really didn't protect the ball with his body, and Sorens made a good play to get in there and knock it out of bounds. 7-2. From the side, tipped out of bounds nicely by Logie. Brissett misses the shot and knocked out of bounds. Kohler does save it. So the Fall Creek Crickets with a couple chances to cut that deficit after an initial quick start. We're stuck here for a bit on 7-2. Wolf to Zimmerman, a hook shot. And look at Wolf, he made the pass, hustled in there, got the rebound on the weak side, and put it back in.
When he started on the outside, they were behind him, and they're going to have to block him out. They can't leave him get to the boards that way.
Joe showing quickness on that play. 9-2, and it's 9 in a row for the Crickets. Mike Dowse trying to make it 11.
Defensive pressure is bothering Fall Creek right now.
Well, the Crickets, a power in their own right, 23-2 coming into this game, just 2 losses, but they're definitely being bothered, and Wolf on the block. Inside, no, steps on Paul Henning, the big guy for the Crickets. Couple of reserves coming in, number 51, Pat Stewart, and number 33, Mark Cota, coming in for Brissett and for Steinke.
That's 2 blocked shots for Big Joe.
Now, yesterday he was just another typical Joe Wolf day. 9 for 20 from the field, 4 for 6 from the free throw line, as Wolf has it right here. Pass underneath to Zimmerman, another hook shot. Needs to work on that one a little bit. To finish up with Wolf, 21 rebounds in the win over Marathon, 22 points, 5 blocks, 3 assists, 2 steals. Just another big game.
He's got a lot of dimensions, Ken. You know, you look at his press, you know, he's helped bringing the ball up, and for a kid that big, he plays like a guard.
Well, he helps bring the ball into the forecourt. Mark Cota, the sophomore, clutch player for Fall Creek, makes it 11-4, so the streak of 11 in a row is stopped. Wolf underneath. That one misses. The rebound tipped out, knocked out of bounds, and Kohler will keep it. 11-4, 3:37 remaining to play right in front of Ron Schultz. I'm sure he didn't like that call. And Dowse goes to the corner.
A lot of pushing going on in that middle, and
from the outside, Dowse is short, and the rebound comes to Logie. Quickly, the Crickets into the forecourt, but it's 1-on-3, so the sophomore Cota will pull up. He's the one that Ron Schultz said gave his team the spark in the 3rd quarter, and their win over South Shore, 44-35 in the semifinals yesterday. Wolf comes out to make the block, and now he'll lead the fast break. It's a 2-on-3. Not much you can do to stop that when Kohler's in there.
He has tremendous body control going to the basket. Yesterday he drove to the basket, changed hands, shot with the left hand, missed it, went to the other side of the bucket and got the rebound. There's a good example of body control. Up in the air, carried the body, no foul, 2 points.
Well, I believe Mark Kohler hurt his ankle. As Dr. Jim Russell is over there taking a look at him. A couple of reserves have come back in, Brissett and Steinke, after a word from Ron Schultz. What he did there was get a bit of advice to his team and not have to take a timeout. From the outside, shot misses by Pat Stewart. The rebound to Brissett, and he scores. So Fall Creek with a second chance, converting 13-6.
Hope Kohler's not hurt too bad because he's a key to the Fall Creek offense. Very cool ball player for a sophomore.
Blocked by Loggy, and the Crickets have it.
Loggy led Fall Creek with blocked shots during the year. He had 106 in regular season play.
Outside now, Jim Smith. Loggy forces one from the outside, in and out. Wolf with the foul, or with the rebound rather. And I want to make a point right now, Jim. I think the officials are allowing some minimal body contact, and I think the message right now is we'll let you play.
Yeah, I think they know that the people have come to see him play, and I think that's good too.
Mike Doust from the outside has 6 points. Doust had 18 yesterday in that win over Marathon. He was a big factor in really opening things up in the first and third quarter. Out of bounds. Fall Creek almost saved it, and they did.
Mike Doust is considered Kohler's best outside shooter.
Well, Mark Kohler couldn't have been hurt too badly. He checks back into the game, the sophomore. And he will run the show from the outside along with Brissett. 15-6, Kohler with the 9-point lead, 1:35 remaining first quarter.
Kohler playing a man-to-man defense.
Rebound fought for, picked up, and quickly into the forecourt. Doust, the 1-on-4, he takes the jumper. That's no good, and the rebound, Brissett knocks it out of bounds. Looking to pass before he had the ball.
Talking to Coach Swanson before the game, he said, we're going to go to play, and we're going to go after them, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, you admire Fall Creek's attitude coming in here. We're just going to play too, and a little more attention to Wolf, but not that much more. You know, one thing that Loggy's doing, Jim, he's not trying for possession of the ball, but he's willing to tip it. We'll see him perhaps on this rebound. Steinke commits his second personal.
That's smart basketball. If you know you can't bring it down, get it out of there so Wolf don't get that second effort.
Keep it alive. Inside to Wolf. He misses the shot, but Zimmerman misses an easy one. So Kohler with 2 good chances does not convert. From the side, Kohler misses. Loggy over Wolf, misses badly.
Joe intimidated him a little bit. He got that hand up there and he had to arch it a little bit more than he wanted to, and way over top of the hoop it went. Both teams well coached though, and both prepared.
And both liking the up-tempo game. I thought that perhaps the Crickets would try to slow things down a bit.
No, I think they want to play basketball.
Let them go. The foul on 33 Kohler, and at the free throw line is Mark Zimmerman. Hits the first. Zimmerman, the second leading scorer for the Blue Bombers, 15.5 points a game, and 66% from the free throw line. And the Kohler lead remains at 10. 16-6. Final minute, first quarter.
Hunter is considered the best defensive player on Kohler on the open floor, and he's got quick hands.
Inside, the miss though to Stewart, and again the intimidation factor of the rushed shot.
Joe Wolf plays with tremendous intensity. It's unbelievable.
Picked up and stolen by Brissett. 2-on-1 break, comes back to him. Blocking foul called against Kohler's Doust.
There you You see it coming. It's a tough call to call.
So it's a common foul. Berseth will key the inbounds pass. 22 seconds to go. Fall Creek might look for a last shot. Stewart just misses an inside shot. Again, the intimidation factor, although Wolf didn't even try to block it.
Well, once he gets his arms up in the air, it's unbelievable what he can do.
In the lane, that's easy. 5 seconds to go, and Kohler ups the lead to 12 points, 18-6, and that ends the first quarter. And a very impressive first quarter it was for the Blue Bombers of Kohler. They lead Fall Creek 18-6. We'll pause for a commercial break. This is your WIAA network station. After one quarter yesterday, Kohler led Marathon 18-7. It's 18-6 here. First quarter, what can you say about Fall Creek when you shoot 3 for 18 from the field, 17%?
Well, it's similar to yesterday's pattern. They've had a number of turnovers, and Kohler's been able to take advantage of it. And, of course, anytime you've got that man in the middle, it's so dominating, it's going to affect your shooting. It's just got to. That's all there is to it.
First quarter for Wolf, 7 rebounds, 3 block shots, 4 for 8 from the field for 8 points. And they'll re-jump it again as either one got it on the way coming down. Kohler in the first quarter, 36%. Not impressive there, but 4 more shots. Inside to Steinke.
Henny making a beautiful save there, and they got a snowbird on it. It was Henny yesterday, that turned the game around for Fall Creek. He got some key rebounds and a few buckets.
Well, yesterday in the second quarter, Marathon made a good run at the Blue Bombers of Kohler. Still down by 8 at half. Let's see if Fall Creek can follow the pattern from yesterday's Class C semifinal. Wolf from 15. A little strong. And look who went up to get the board, and an assist there beautifully to Jason Unger. Fed off to Wolf, and Wolf now has 10.
They've got to string Joe off the boards. They can't leave him get in there for that snowbird.
Soren from the side. So again, the press results in 2 more for Kohler, and the lead is now 14 at 22-8. Steal by Zimmerman. 1-on-2. All the way, and Ron Choke wants a timeout. 6 in a row for the Blue Bombers of Kohler. 6:52 remaining second quarter, 24-8. Stay with us. We're coming back after we hear from the folks who sponsor this telecast. This is your WIAA network station.
March is coming.
Jim Nedelkoff, that press for Kohler is very effective.
Yes, it is. People fail to realize how quick Kohler is. I was impressed with him yesterday, and all the scouting reports that I had on him early in the year, nothing was mentioned about their quickness. And yesterday, I was really impressed with the quickness. They got good hands.
So it's so much more than just Joe Wolf. Even if you took him out of the lineup, it would be a team that certainly would have a winning record through the year.
Very respectable, yes.
Turnovers, there you see a problem for the Crickets, 8 against 3. So they're down 24-8. And Henning works for the shot in the lane and gets it. Paul Henning does not look like a basketball player out there, but I was impressed with him yesterday.
And tremendous intensity, a good.
He got the man Sorens up in the air and made the shot.
He has nice touch on a jump shot. He showed that yesterday, and right there he had good body control.
Doesn't convert on the three-point play, and Wolf well above the rim to pull that one down.
Fall Creek's gone to man-to-man now. Picking him up in half court.
Unger to Wolf on the side. Uncontested jumper like that. No problem for Joe Wolf. Now has 12, and it's 26-10.
Fall Creek attempting to trap in the back court. Now they're going to go man.
Nice shot by Pat Stewart over Joe Wolf. And that's something, again, the teams aren't familiar with, having the wild pass almost saved by Kohler. Tipped out of bounds. Fall Creek will have it. The players are not familiar when they drive to have to pull up and shoot over a player. They don't see a 6'10 player that often. So Fall Creek will inbound it from the backcourt. They're down by 14. 4 turnovers against the Blue Bombers. WIA Sports are presented by the WIA Network, whose members include WKOW Channel 27 in Madison, WAOW Channel 9 in Wausau, WVXOW Channel 19 in La Crosse, WQOW Channel 18 in Eau Claire, WLUK Channel 11 in Green Bay, and WVTV Channel 18 in Milwaukee. Wolf with another block shot. And again, the easy missed shot when Henning is not having Wolf block it, just the intimidation factor.
Yeah, but I think Coach Schultz has come up with something different. He's taking Henning to the outside, and he's having Wolf go out with him. And I think that's good philosophy, because if Wolf don't come out, Henning's got a good enough jump shot that he can hit from out there. So if you get Wolf...
Well, Mr. Wolf has 3 or 4 block shots on the afternoon, and we'll see another one that happened before that. And again, the missed shot and the rebound. You know, an interesting point. Yesterday, Wolf had 21 rebounds in one game. You think that might be a record? The record is 24, set by Jeff Wolf, his brother.
Yeah, Jeff was quite a ball player. You know, he played at North Carolina under Dean Smith.
Now, North Carolina is one of the 2 schools that Joe Wolf is considering to attend next year, as Zimmerman scores on a nice pass from Doust. It's down to Marquette in North Carolina for the big guy. 28-12, 4:25 remaining. And Fall Creek again, problem with the press of Kohler from the side. That one misses by Smith. Inside, no, I don't think so, Joe. That's a little too late.
Yes, it was. It definitely was goaltending.
Brissett gets 2. You call it, Jim.
There goes the shot. He's up there. Yeah, the ball was on the downward trend.
That was almost on the rim. Pass off to Sorens. Good move.
Beautiful move by Jeff Sorens.
Assist to Wolf. Second basket for Sorens. 30-14. How would you like to be Brissett when you feel the 6'10" guy on you, and Wolf called for the foul, blocking.
You're going to see him moving. It's awfully close. A judgment call.
Statistician Don Kerr tells me Kohler is 6 in a row from the field, accounting for a nice 16-point lead with 3:47 remaining second quarter. And while it's been tough for the Crickets in the tournament trail, I'm sure they haven't faced a 16-point deficit. Good move to get the shot off by Henning, but he couldn't get it to fall. When you make the move, you expect Wolf to make some kind of an effort to block it. And Wolf with a player control foul. 2 quick personals.
It was close. He could have been stationary there. It's another tough call.
Don't you think that's the toughest call for an official?
It's the toughest call in basketball. At least they're being consistent.
Henning got position and made the move, and Wolf again had to fall back. He has 2 personals. You know, that has not been a problem for Joe Wolf. Foul trouble. He's fouled out in 1 game.
Well, he's a very smart basketball player, Ken. You know, once he gets in foul trouble, he knows that he's needed, and he doesn't go after the ball as strong as he normally does.
Well, now might be the time for Fall Creek to try to push it on him. And a 3-on-1 break is converted by Coda, and Fall Creek has cut it down to 12.
The role of the game has changed a little bit.
And a foul on Brissett as he tried to cut off the 2-on-1 break on Sorens. Second personal on Brissett. 3-on-1 break. Let's see it again.
Beautiful bounce pass. You know, it's not used enough in basketball today.
That's the assistant coach for Kohler, Larry Campman. Sorens at the free throw line, doesn't get it to fall. And the Crickets can cut it to 10. 2:42 remaining second quarter. From the outside, Wolf goes to block it. Stewart hits. He's got 4, and it's a 10-point game. Crickets have 6 in a row.
Good strategy, though, on Coach Schultz's part. I think he's trying to get Joe Wolf away from the basket. And if he can get him away from the basket, he can make a change in this ball game.
Zimmerman quiets the Fall Creek crowd with a nice basket, 32-20.
Sir.
We had Todd Luggy wanting to report to us to check into the game. That won't quite do it. Loose change for Pat Stewart, 32-22.
I don't know. I think we should have a timeout here to try to stop this momentum that Fall Creek is.
Luggy will come in, and checking out is Henning. Now Zimmerman tried to draw the player control foul, didn't go. 1:57 remaining, and the Crickets keep up with, what is it, 2-2-1?
Yes.
And the roll for Mike Doust, one-on-one, and he showed a lot of quickness to make that move into the lane.
Kohler's trying to pinch the ball in the backcourt. Then they're dropping back into the man-to-man, and Joe Wolf's sort of sitting in the middle.
Well, it's nice to have the big guy back there, although yesterday we saw him out at the midcourt on the press.
Yes.
Kicked out of bounds by the Crickets. Turnover number 11.
The pressure defense bound to affect the team. Especially when you got the quickness that Kohler's got. Fall Creek in a straight man-to-man now.
Brissett committing the foul, and what Luggy is trying to do on Wolf is front him, and I'm not sure he's getting weak side help.
No.
You saw the foul there on Brissett.
If you're going to front Wolf, you've got to get help in the weak side. If you don't get any, he's going to get the snowbird. He's going to be there all alone. That's one of the things you work on, you know, night after night in practice, but it's really something to do in the game. It looks beautiful when it happens correctly.
Joe Wolf at the free throw line, an All-American from Parade Magazine, and then this week on McDonald's All-American team, All-State last year, obviously a two-time All-Conference player, Player of the Year also, and I would imagine that he will rack up soon in the next week, an All-State player, first team for the
I would assume that.
state of Wisconsin.
He's also a 72% shooter from the foul line. Not bad.
That's why he was recruited by national powers. Joe Wolf of Kohler we're talking about. His team leads by 14 with 55 seconds remaining, second quarter.
Fall Creek out again in a man-to-man. There's the thing, Tim, that many people fail to realize, that the rest of the team can hit also, and of course they all play their role. They know they chose the cog, but when they're open, they'll put that ball up there.
And Zimmerman, who has 4 in a row, makes a steal, 1-on-2. That shot a little errant. He gets the rebound, it's short, and the Crickets pick it up with 25 to go, second quarter. Wolf with another block shot. Tipped out of bounds by the Crickets, but Wolf picked his spot and made the stuff.
It really adds something to it. That's 5 block shots for Joe Wolf in this ballgame.
Now you have the partisans here, Fall Creek and Kohler, but you have to realize that a lot of the oohs and ahs are coming from the fans who are just here to watch good basketball, and they're being impressed by that guy as well as Joe Wolf. Mark Zimmerman has 10, and he's a big factor why it's 40-22 as Kohler has gone back up to an 18-point lead behind Mark Zimmerman. There's a break in the action. We'll pause to hear from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station.
Time of our 1983 Class C Boys State Championship game. It's Kohler leading Fall Creek. The score 40-22. Class B title game between Mayville and Valders is coming right up after the conclusion of this Class C game. Well, the WIAA administrates its 11 boys and 9 girls sports throughout the year, with more than 5,000 teams and 140,000 team members participating. It's a rather difficult task to get, and it isn't getting any easier, of course. WIAA Executive Director John Roberts recently spoke with Randy Allen about the problems the WIAA will be facing in the future.
As we look at the cost of maintaining athletics in our high school, every school district has taken a look in recent years at their athletic budget. In some cases, they found that they had to decrease it somehow through either eliminating some level of competition, eliminating some area of the fringes that goes along with athletics, the meals on the road, or to having teams travel together. So the economy has affected high school athletics to a point to where the taxpayers are more interested in what is being made available to the young people in their school districts, and I suppose we can finalize that analysis by indicating that a school district will find the money necessary to sponsor the type of athletic program that community feels it needs. And I suppose when the Board of Education says we can't spend that much money on athletics, they're speaking for the community.
John Roberts of the WIAA. One of the ways the WIAA keeps its members informed about the changes ahead is the publication of the WIAA Bulletin. The bulletin features everything from schedules to editorials, and the editor is WIAA Associate Director Matt Otte. Randy Allen recently visited the editor-in-chief.
Well, the bulletin has been a very important aspect of the WIAA operations ever since 1925, actually. That's when the first bulletin came out. It was a monthly publication at that time. In the early 1960s, we went to a new format and decided to come out on a more or less an every other week basis. And so for the past 15 years or so, we've had a bulletin that is published 18 or 20 times a year. We feel that the bulletin is important because it's more or less our official means of communicating with schools. There are still a lot of letters, naturally, that are written, including form letters, but the bulletin is designed for our schools to keep informed on what's going on, and we try to keep them informed on such things as the annual meeting, when the season begins, the new rules changes, and we feel that an important part of the bulletin, every issue, is our editorial, which is intended to try to speak on a certain problem or concern or certain area where our people have, as they travel around the state, feel there are problems, and we try to amplify on that and give some direction and instructions to our schools that way.
At halftime of the Class C title game, it's Kohler leading Fall Creek 40-22. In a minute, we'll go back down to the UW Fieldhouse for a look back at that first half with Ken Syke and Jim Nedelkoff. First, let's break for these messages. This is your WIAA network station. The championship at halftime, Kohler leading Fall Creek 40-22. For a look at the first half, here's Ken Syke and Jim Nedelkoff at the UW Fieldhouse.
Thank you, Jay Wilson. Kohler with an 18-point lead, 40-22, and a very impressive half, not only for the Kohler Blue Bombers, but also Joe Wolf. The Blue Bombers statistically increased their percentage, as Jim pointed out, from 36% after one quarter to 50% at half, 18 for 36. Fall Creek had almost as many shots, but not nearly the percentage. The other difference is big ones, rebounds, 24-16, and again, that's not all Joe Wolf, and turnovers, meaning that the Kohler press is effective, and it's effective today with Joe Wolf playing more in the backcourt.
And holy cow, Mark Zimmerman really came in and played a fabulous second quarter, too. I think he had 10 points in that quarter, did he not? So, you know, it's not a one-man team, and although we know that Joe Wolf is the Super Bowl player, but the other kids, I can't help but repeat, they fill their role, and they do it well, Ken.
Well, we can have many testaments to Mr. Wolf's ability, and he's had a good first half. 6 for 11 from the field, perfect from the free throw line, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 5 block shots, and 1 assist. And here's one of the blocks right here. Went to one side, then came back to the other. The thing I wonder about, Jim, Joe has played so much of his basketball against Class C competition. Kohler is a Class C school, no doubt about it. They have played some Class A games. But you wonder how he'll do as a college player against other players 6'10 or 6'9 and 6'8, just as skilled.
Well, we got to remember that Joe Wolf's only 18 years old, and because he's played against Class C schools doesn't mean he hasn't played against good competition. Also, you know, Coach Swanson had the foresight to schedule some A squad, you know, A teams on his schedule, and I think his statistics were just as impressive against Sheboygan North and Two Rivers and Kiel and teams as such. I know some people wonder about his physicalness. You know, he is 6'10", he weighs about 210, 220. They're wondering whether or not he's got the both, but he has so many things going for him. He's quick, he's got long arms, he's an excellent shooter, not only inside and outside, but he does so many other things. I don't think he necessarily has to be a center, you know. I think he can play the forward spot, and I don't believe he'll have any difficulty.
That's why the colleges have been recruiting him so heavily. Stay with us. We're coming back after we hear from the folks who sponsor this telecast. This is your WIAA network station. Back at the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse, Ken Syke along with Jim Nedelkoff, the head coach of Southwestern of Hazel Green. And Jim, I know you had a fine team this year. What was it, 18-5 or 18-6?
18-5, Ken.
And you were one game away from facing Kohler. You reached the sectional semifinals.
We were looking forward to it. It would have been a challenge, whatever would have happened. But it wasn't to be. That's all there was to it.
Now, Kohler has taken care of Howard's Grove on the tournament trail, Cedar Grove, Oostburg, Hilbert, who has given them their closest game so far. 56-48 was the final score. Then Green Lake, Deerfield, the team that beat your team, Jim, and then Marathon yesterday, 69-46. Kohler ranked number 1 all season long. Fall Creek ranked number 8. Both teams coming in with 10 victories in a row, and Kohler certainly looking very impressive. And you have to give credit, I think, to Paul Swanson, who has kind of peaked his team, I think, right now. He said, we're playing our best ball of the year right now.
Well, he's done an excellent job coaching. You know, he's filled 5 good ball players into a team. And of course, Joe Wolf is an unselfish ball player also. I think the first 3 minutes of this third quarter is going to tell the difference. Fall Creek's going to have to come back.
Well, Henning saves it in the corner. They're down by 18. I think your point is very good. Early part of the third quarter is important. A nice shot by Logie.
That time they got Wolf outside with Hennig, and they got the ball into the big kid, and he just turned around and got 2 points.
Fall Creek continues the pressure, 40-24. Soren from the outside. Jeff Soren now has 6 points. I'm even more impressed with this Kohler team this year than they were last year.
Oh, yes, they're much improved, and Coach Swanson says the same thing about them. Play a better defense all over.
I'm a little surprised by Wolf guarding Henning.
Well, then...
and not Logie.
Yes, I don't understand, but see, Henning's going outside, and that's... I would assume that's what Coach Schultz wants. He wants Wolf to go out with Henning.
So Logie had no points in the first half. Now has 4. Hits his first 2 shots in the second half here. Zimmerman has it blocked by Henning. Nice move. And again, I'll reiterate, Paul Henning, as we'll see the block again, does not look like a basketball player out there, but he plays the game well.
Works with intensity and has a good shot. He has good touch on that ball.
And yes, he does play football for the Crickets.
Yes, he does.
2-on-1 for Seth. Slow getting the pass, but did get it over to Smith. And it's 42-28. Kohler quickly into the forecourt. Wolf. Cross-court pass to Sorens. That didn't go, and the rebound comes to Fall Creek. 3-on-1. Let's see what they'll do. Wolf is back. Tipped out of bounds, and the Crickets will maintain possession. But from the halftime score, they've outscored the Blue Bombers 6-2.
The good quick hands of Mike Dowse knocked that ball out of bounds.
The Seiko Watch Company and their Seiko dealers throughout the state are pleased to be bringing you this state tournament action. And Henning hits again. And you talk about a critical time in the game, Fall Creek is making another run.
Yes, that first 3 minutes, you know, is very critical, and they've done the job. I don't know, maybe there should be a timeout here to stop this roll that Fall Creek's got going for them.
Well, Ron Schultz has said that his team is a third quarter team, and they made the run against South Shore yesterday in the third quarter. Zimmerman picks up the deflection. Soren picked up the block shot. Wolf is right there to put it back in. He had position.
Excellent help from the backside, but then again, the ball just stayed alive too long.
And again, Zimmerman and Sorens, the other forwards, are pretty adept at making the move inside. Oh, an easy shot missed by Steinke.
They're getting Wolf to go to the outside, though, and it's helped them on the inside as far as Fall Creek is concerned.
Doused from the corner. No doubt in his mind, he got it, he was going up. And Kohler quickly responds with 5-6 in a row.
Mike Douse is an excellent outside shooter, and he does take some pressure off of Joe Wolf. Kohler's in a man-to-man. There they tried a two-time in the corner.
Blocking foul on Jeff Sorens. No basket. Referee Rod Ostrom says no, sir. So a common foul, the second personal foul on Sorens.
Foul definitely happened before he shot the ball. Good call by the officials.
Might be a basket in the pros or even college, but not in high school.
No, that's right, Ken.
That's well short. Wolf picks up another rebound. The Blue Bombers have reestablished a 16-point lead. So have they fought off the Fall Creek surge? Oh,
unbelievable. He had a hand in his face, well guarded, still got the 2 points.
4 in a row for Wolf.
Kohler's not putting the pressure on at this point as they were earlier in the game.
Henning with a good move, but again, the shot just rolls off. It has to be frustrating for a team. They're getting the shots off. He's not totally intimidating, but just his presence is there. That one's a bit long for Kohler and goes out of bounds.
It becomes very depressing when you miss those layups like that, but that's part of the game, and they've got to forget it and come back.
46-30, the 16-point lead. Back up from Kohler getting it as close as 12. At 42-30, so it's been 4 in a row for the Blue Bombers. Henning has it tipped out of bounds, and again, the quick hands of Mike Doust. He's an honorable mention all-conference player. The Blue Bombers representing the Central Lakeshore Conference and Fall Creek from the Clover Belt Conference. Brisseth's shot's a little long, gets his own rebound, looks for the open spot. Nice move to the open area.
That's right. Excellent. There was no one there to block him out, and he got that long rebound and put it up for 2 points. The one thing that Kohler does well in defense also, Ken, is that their fellow players will help out when someone's going down the middle.
I think the scoreboard's off a little bit as Zimmerman scored. It should be 50-34. But we'll have a timeout with Kohler. 3:35 remaining. We'll return after these commercial messages from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. Back at the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse, the correct score, Kohler 50 and Fall Creek 32, and you feel that Fall Creek, a third quarter team, made their run, and Kohler kind of said, no, we're going to go back up to this 18-point lead.
That sometimes happens, you know, you make that big run and you close the score down close, and then all of a sudden, boom, you know, the balloon goes out of the air goes out of the balloon, and the other team comes back on you. And of course, again, Kohler, you know, is not getting upset. They're not getting frantic, and that makes a difference.
And again, the quick hands of Doust leads a break, 2-on-4 all the way. Boy, Mike Doust had 18 points yesterday, now has 12. Biggest lead at 20 points with 3:12 remaining. First time it reaches that big of a deficit.
Kohler's gone back into a half-court man-to-man, and not putting the pressure on in the backcourt as they were earlier in the game.
Steinke is off on that one, and Wolf tips it to Sorens. And the Blue Bombers have a firm grip on this one in the third quarter. Inside to Zimmerman. Henning fronted him. Didn't work.
Didn't get any help from the weak side, and became 2 points for Kohler.
Zimmerman now has 15.
Kohler gives excellent help, Ken, on defense when one person gets beat. The other person will fill that middle, and then they switch.
There's another turnover. 2-on-1. Zimmerman to Sorens. Nice block by Steinke. I was just going to comment, we haven't heard too much from him. Oh. Loggy anticipated the block effort. Henning with the rebound. That was a brick. Number of reserves set to check in here at the next whistle. Henning with the rebound. Well, you have to give Fall Creek credit. They have not backed down from their game. Smith to Henning. Now I see that Wolf is back to guarding the big guy, Loggy. .134 remaining. Kohler 54 and Fall Creek 34.
Fall Creek's in a man-to-man. Trying to keep Wolf away from the basket, but he can still hit that 8, 10, 12-footer, and it's tough.
Joe Wolf reaches the 20-point mark, 5 in a row from the field. Nice move by Henning. The all-conference player from the Clover Belt now has 10, 56-36.
Fall Creek in his own press now.
Zimmerman is off on that one, but Sorens had excellent position on Steinke. Steinke forced to make the foul.
Good inside position by Sorens. Sorens gets the inside, takes a shot up, and gets hit on the arm.
So a number of reserves coming in, Loggy among those coming out with 49 seconds in the third quarter. And Jeff Sorens, a 6-foot junior, 6.5 points on the year, also a member of the Kohler golf team. Misses on the first free throw. And the second.
Had good touch in that ball, but just wouldn't fall.
Henning comes out, but I believe a 3-second call. Somebody anticipated the shot, didn't get it. Turnover number 16 against the Crickets.
A very important factor, Ken, in the score of this ball game, the turnovers.
I pass to Wolf. Good move by Doust. Knocked away. Loose ball. Will have a jump ball. But again, Doust and Unger so quick out there. As a matter of fact, Unger, number 12 for Kohler, playing with a kind of an injured knee. I guess just a catch in the knee. He'll hobble around, but as soon as it's game time, he's all set to go.
According to Coach Swanson, Unger has been a pleasant surprise this year. He's really played the role he wanted him to play, and has been a steady ball player all year.
Mike Schmeling misses the shot after the good move. Down to 10 seconds, third quarter. Henning, boy, very aggressive against Wolf. And a foul. Number 22, Schmeling. Let's see it.
Ball goes in, and then he gets whacked right there.
I think the Fall Creek fans thought it might have been a foul on Wolf.
He has good touch on the ball, doesn't he, Ken?
He really does. All-conference player in football. Second team, first team also all-conference basketball. Well-rounded athlete. This is on the second free throw. That one goes into row 3 as the third quarter ends. And Kohler has a 19-point lead, so they increase it by 1 at the end of 3. There's a break in the action. We'll take a moment to hear from our sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. The closest that Fall Creek got in that third quarter was 12 points, but Kohler has reestablished a comfortable 19-point lead. And Jim Nedelkoff, your point about Jim Steinke, the leading scorer for Fall Creek, is well made between break.
Yes, he's their leading scorer, and in this ball game we haven't heard from him, but I would assume that Steinke's a pretty good rebounder, and he probably scores a lot close to the bucket, and he's not getting that opportunity.
Well, he is the leading rebounder for the Crickets. And Steinke, heading into the fourth quarter, just has the 4 points. Blue Bombers get it to control the fourth quarter of the Class C championship game. One more coming up after this one. And the foul called against Loggy. Class B championship game between Mayville and number 1 ranked Valders. Then, of course, the Class A championship game tonight. Milwaukee Tech and Watertown. 3 championship games for you from the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse. As Kohler here looking pretty good in their attempt to win state championship number 2. And that one will get the Fieldhouse going.
That brought the crowd out, didn't it?
6 in a row from the field, and that's a sure shot.
Everybody gets excited about a dunk, Ken.
He had one yesterday as Henning responds at the other end. That was in the first quarter, and I thought that was a big factor in the Blue Bombers' 18-7 first quarter control over Marathon.
Fall Creek applying a 1-2-1-1 zone press, and they stole the ball.
Turnover only number 7. Henning walked. Made a nice move to get around one guy, turned around and saw a 6'10" arms.
The intimidation did it that time, no doubt about it.
Wolf, nice pass into the forecourt for the Blue Bombers. It's fun just to watch Joe Wolf, as I'm sure many of the 11,000 plus here this afternoon are doing, even when he doesn't have the ball.
He's saying, give me that basketball.
How many in a row now? 7 in a row from the field.
The thing about him, though, Ken, is that when he gets the ball and he doesn't have the shot, he's very unselfish. He'll pass back out.
Generally regarded as one of the 10 best high school seniors in the country, Joe Wolf looks like he's heading his team towards another state championship, and it's not often that a player can be involved in 3 state championships, as we see Brissett foul down the shot. Steinke will come back in.
It's interesting, Ken, though. Fall Creek is here to play, and they're challenging Kohler, and they're not slowing the game down at all.
You have to give the Crickets credit. They haven't tried anything gimmicky like a slowdown or anything out of what got them here. I suppose you go with the things that got you here. You can't make a change in less than a day and a half.
Yeah, they didn't even know they were going to be playing, Kohler in the finals. You never really know until you win.
Well, that stops the streak at 7 in a row. But he's still 11 for 17 from the field. It's not like Mr. Wolf doesn't have his name in the record book already. He holds 4 Class C records and picks up another block shot. That is not something they keep in the full records. As knocking one in from 15 is Tim Soxie. (62-40), 5:35 remaining, and a blocking foul on Unger. Still a common foul. Kohler just committing their 4th foul. Next one will be the bonus situation, as Zimmerman and Sorens will come back into the game. This is a bit of a change. Paul Swanson has his 2 forwards in the back court as Brissett drills one from the side. Brissett now has 9. Rebound pulled down by Coda, quickly into the forecourt for the Crickets. Steinke loses it out of bounds. And Jim Steinke, who had 15 points yesterday, all-conference player, has not had one of his better games, and Henning commits the foul on Joe Wolf. That'll be a common foul, just the 3rd against the Crickets.
Henning attempts to steal a ball, has a little body contact.
Well, we said before, they're rather interesting for Paul Swanson here. He really has 3 forwards in there now, but his players can shift around well, and Zimmerman and Tim Soxie are in the forecourt. That's Soxie with the ball.
Well, he's got Wolf back playing guard now and help bringing the ball up the court. You can see that one coming, Ken.
Wolf playing like a guard. Too long, 3 seconds on the Blue Bombers. They expected the shot and didn't have it. And we'll have a timeout from Kohler. They lead by 20 with 4:47 remaining. We're coming back after these commercial messages. This is your WIAA network station.
You can own.
62-42. Kohler with a 20-point lead over Fall Creek, and it's 4:47 remaining, becoming rather obvious that it will not happen this year for the Crickets as it did in 1937. There's one of my favorite treats at the University of Wisconsin Fieldhouse, the ice cream here. And Joe Wolf right now, a status, 24 points, 14 rebounds, and how many intimidations, Jim Nedelkoff?
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
I hope we're not overplaying him too much, but it's not often that Wisconsin, as Loggy hits on a nice move, has a consensus prep All-American. And not only that, he's balanced out with a fine team. Good pass, great pass.
Beautiful pass.
By Mark Koda to Steinke. And a possibility for the three-point play. I like that sophomore. Ron Schultz looking forward to 2 more years with Mark Koda, 5'8" sophomore. Steinke gets the hoop, but Koda gets the assist.
Actually, Fall Creek's got a fairly young ball club. Yeah.
Well, let's see. Steinke is a senior, so is Brissett and Smith.
Loggy's a junior.
So is Henning.
Henning's a junior. Koda's a sophomore. Stewart's a junior.
Well, consecutive appearances in 1977 and 78 for the Crickets. Unfortunately, they lost in the semifinals both years. This year, they're getting one step further into the championship game. Who knows? Maybe it'll be one step further next year for
Very
Ron Schultz.
encouraging, very encouraging.
Henning with a rather obvious foul in the backcourt. Still a common foul on the Crickets.
You're going to see Henning reach in. Makes body contact with the offside of the hand.
Now it's down to 15. 62-47, 4:15 remaining. Never say die, Fall Creek in a man-to-man defense. Inside to Wolf.
That one off the fingertips. He didn't really have good control of the ball. Still in the hole.
26 points for the All-American. And those are the kind of plays that we're glad you're tuned in for watching, and we're glad that 11,000 fans are here to see as Wolf grabs another rebound. He might be approaching some tournament records here for 2 games. Many of them he set last year. Pass back to Zimmerman.
Unselfish basketball player. He could have turned and shot that ball himself. He shoved it right back to Mark Zimmerman and 2 points.
And Zimmerman with 16 now. Wolf got a piece of that one, but Steinke still got it to go, and the grimace on Wolf's face.
He should get an assist for that one. You know, a lot of times people, you know, they look at a kid like Joe Wolf, and sometimes they think maybe he's not going up and down the court fast enough, but holy cow, he plays with tremendous intensity, and he's going 94 feet every time he moves.
Foul on Doust as Bob Hornick will check into the game. Soren's on the missed shot here, and the weak side rebound positioning goes to Fall Creek. And so the sophomore, Mark Koda, we were just talking about, will step to the free throw line. As a sophomore, a member of the football team, baseball, student council.
That's typical of a small school. Most of your athletes play all sports, and they're involved in other things besides sports.
Perhaps one of the advantages of being at a smaller school. Fall Creek, 292 enrollment. Kohler, only 183.
Right.
Some people wonder about what exactly is a Class C school. Well, this year it's any school with an enrollment of 368 students or less. That varies slightly from year to year. But last couple of years anyway, it's been the 176th smallest schools in the WIAA, smallest as far as enrollment. Nice steal by Zimmerman.
The first 128 schools are put in Class A enrollment-wise. Next 118 in B and the remainder in C.
So if you wish, this championship among the most number of schools, and no doubt Class C schools have to play more games to reach the state tournament. Well, Fall Creek has kept the margin at 15, 66-51, but the clock becoming more of a problem now.
Yeah, time is a big factor now.
Doggone it, you got to give these Crickets credit, though. They haven't backed down. They've still got their starting lineup in there, except for Kohler, who's a reserve.
And they're constantly hustling, and you don't see anybody out there pouting. You know, they haven't given up yet. They're giving their full effort.
Well, Ron Schultz kind of liked being the underdog coming into the semifinal. Everybody was looking at the Marathon Kohler game, #1 against #2 in the rankings. He said, I like that.
Yes, it can help you, you know, because everybody's paying attention to somebody else.
Well, it's down to 13. Hasn't been that low since early in the third quarter when it was 12, 42-30. Inside to Wolf.
The lob pass.
Passed it out to Zimmerman. Partial block. And on the rebound, the foul committed was a good move by Bob Hornick, who just checked in.
Zimmerman gets the rebound, and he had a hand on his arm.
So Paul Swanson not afraid to have a reserve in there at this time. Hornick, a 6'3" senior, gets his first point of this championship game. 2:25 remaining, and the lead is back up to 15.
Kohler dropping back into a half-court man-to-man.
Loggy looking for the ball inside. Wolf guarding him. Wolf with another rebound. Long pass, home run job, and beautifully done.
Beautiful baseball pass. Beautiful baseball pass for a lead. 2 points.
70-53, and Kohler looks like they're heading for their third state championship in the last 4 seasons. As Brissett is a little strong on that one. Tipped out of bounds, nicely anticipated by Kohler, as we'll start to get some of the reserves in, and I think it's concession time for Fall Creek Crickets. Although Paul Swanson says he likes to keep Joe Wolf in there as a stabilizing effect, maybe get a minute in or so.
And I think it helps the other kids.
Well, just as I said, Wolf comes out. Thanks, Paul.
Getting a standing room hand. Unbelievable.
A standing O for Joe Wolf, 28 points today. And Ron Schultz will send in some reserves on the next whistle. I know there are many in this field house who would like to see him playing here often again, but again, according to what Joe has said and Paul Swanson has said, it'll either be Marquette or North Carolina winning the recruiting sweepstakes. And how about a hand for these Fall Creek Crickets?
I would assume Wisconsin people will get to see him play maybe once more, because I think he'll be in the All-Star team.
That's right. Good point, Jim. The coaches All-Star game every summer played at the field house here. And with 1:17 to go, the reserves get a chance to come in, and Dennis Decken hits on his first shot. Statistician Don Kerr giving us the final on Joe Wolf. 12 for 18 from the field. Perfect from the free throw line in 2 attempts. 17 rebounds, 6 block shots, and 3 assists.
Statistics are unbelievable, and Joe Wolf, I think everyone knows, has got a great future in basketball if nothing happens.
Well, his big point coming into this tournament was just concentration on winning a state championship. He said, you never know, I could be hurt, never play in college. You'd hate to see that happen, but that was most important, not the future.
The thing that's amazing about him, here he's an 18-year-old high school boy. a young man, and the pressure that's been on him all year, and he's handled so gracefully and with a lot of humility.
And for him, it's important to play successfully with his buddies. The last game with a group that he's come up with all together, a travel turnover. 28 seconds remaining now. And it will be a happy ending. Because I can remember watching Joe Wolf doing the game 3 years ago when he was a freshman. And they won it then with a win over a very fine Edgar team. That was in 1980. And I thought another fine Thorpe team last year that the Blue Bombers beat. As Galen Cheapelbein gets 2 points, will get his name in the official record. Final seconds, and a foul committed, not quite over with 1 second to go.
Even though there's been a 13-point difference, this was a good game to watch, Ken. Lots of excitement.
And I'll give a little pat on the back to the officials, Doug Conyers and Ron Ostrom. Well called game, but they could have interrupted the flow much more had they called the real little things.
They let the kids play, and I think that's good. They know that people have come to the field house to watch good basketball.
And a violation. He'll do it again. No, it's a violation on Fall Creek. So 1 tick left on the clock. Almost went in. An interesting ending to the Class C championship game. It belongs for the 3rd time in 4 years, for the 2nd year in a row, to the Blue Bombers of Kohler. They defeat Fall Creek in an interesting championship game, 70-57. Let's take this break to hear from the sponsor of the telecast. This is your WIAA network station. Kohler has done it again, and we're all set for the presentation of the 2nd place and championship trophies. We'll go to public address announcer Jack Ring.
Will Coach Ron Schultz of the Class C runner-up team, Fall Creek, please proceed to center court to receive the runner-up trophy. Will the captains of the Class C championship team from Kohler please report and receive the individual first place medals. Coach Swanson, will you please report and receive the center court and receive the championship trophy. Congratulations to both teams, and thank you for sharing in this ceremony.
Well, it's a happy time for the Blue Bombers of Kohler. They are the 1983 Class C State Boys Basketball Champions. 3rd time in 4 years. Paul Swanson in his 2nd year at Kohler for 2, Jim. That's not bad.
No, you can't beat that, Ken.
Well, as we told you, Wolf ended up with some impressive statistics in the 70-57 game. Individual scoring, Wolf ended up with 26. Mark Zimmerman had 18, and Mike Doust had 12 for the Fall Creek Crickets, who fall for only the 3rd time this season. Mike Doust, or check that, Paul Henning ending up with 13 points. So 70 to 57, and Jim, perhaps just a brief assessment here of what you thought of Kohler.
Well, I think Kohler well deserves to be the Class C champions, and of course, again, it's something to come back and repeat. You know, the pressure's on you at the beginning of the year. They did it.
And then at state tournament play, they now have a very fine record of 9-6. That's at the state. Most teams normally have a losing record. Paul Swanson is the victorious coach, and he is standing by with our Darrell Burnett.
Coach, your Kohler Ball Club is just super. You won your 3rd state title out of the last 4 years, and a great team effort.
Thank you. I really felt it was. I thought our team defense early in the game got them rattled, gave us a good lead, and then, you know, they came back and made a couple of runs at us, and we were able to hold that off, get the lead back up, and retain our composure, and come out with a pretty nice victory.
Your blue chipper, Joe Wolf, just a superb ball game to close out his high school career. Any word on what's going to happen next with Joe Wolf?
Well, probably the same place it's been for quite a while. Joe and I talked about it around Christmas, and he said he wants to wait till everything's over. He won't even, you know, look into the recruiting aspect probably till middle of next week or so. Just need some time to settle down and get everything back in normal routine.
Again, he had a great supporting cast. Zimmerman with a fantastic ball game, upwards of 20 points, and Mike Delst to get in double figures.
Yeah, they've been doing that all year. You know, one might be in double figures, 2, and then, you know, in the tournament here, the last 4 games, all 3 of them been in double figures, and they really work hard on defense, and I think the team concept was all about.
What were your impressions of the Crickets today? You got off to a 12-point lead at the end of the first quarter, and this kind of did a little embroidering and went on to win it. What do you think of the Crickets?
I thought they played hard. You got to respect the team that, you know, when you get them down 24-8, you know, they didn't fold or give anything away. They came back right at us. They stayed in their press, got them a few points. They got a few fast break baskets on it, and you got to really look up to kids that will play that hard under those conditions.
It's a super day for you and Kohler. What's up in the future now with Joe Wolf gone? It looks like you still have a nice scrappy ball club.
Well, you know, kids still have to play hard. You know, I got along for 13 years without a 6'10" kid, so I still know a few things that I think we can do with smaller kids. And you go back, you change a few things, and then you work a little bit harder, and that's just what we have to do.
Well, Paul, congratulations. You're a super coach. You got a great ball club, and have a good day.
Thanks very much.
Head coach Paul Swanson of the Class C state champion Kohler Blue Bombers. Now let's go back to Ken Syke at courtside.
Thank you, Hayes Callahan, from our Wisconsin TV network station in Eau Claire. Fall Creek not able to bring that state championship back to the Eau Claire area. Let's take a look at the final statistics. Pretty close field goal percentage, Jim, and I guess Kohler, though, having much more as far as shot opportunity, 75 to 61. The turnovers a big factor, 19 to 9, and the rebounds again for Kohler, 10 more, 43 to 33. But looking back in the game, they took control right off the top and never let up.
That's for sure, you know. And again, Fall Creek came back, you know, and increased their field goal percentage and made a ball game out of it.
Again, we want to make the point that the Blue Bombers, not just a Joe Wolf team.
Well, as Coach Swanson said, everybody played their role, and the Zimmerman kid played well. Douse hit from the outside well. Sorens played a good ball game today.
Well, the Blue Bombers have upped their record to 23-3, and of course the team's starting to warm up now for the Class B championship game. But it's a happy moment for Kohler, a community just outside the city of Sheboygan, and a bit of a disappointment for Fall Creek. But as we said, to make it to this state championship game takes an awful lot of good basketball down the trail, and really Kohler, the odds-on favorite, and well-deserved in their state championship.
Yeah, one of the things I think it shows that good basketball is played, Ken, in whatever class of basketball it may be, A, B, or C. And I think it's typical this afternoon of the enthusiasm that's shown by the small towns, small communities toward basketball. And that's what it's all about.
Especially their support here, Jim, in a day when the weather wasn't particularly great. Perhaps we're still in the middle of basketball season if you look outside, look at all the snow on the ground. But unfortunately, it'll come to an end here today with the state championship. But both communities supported well, and it's Kohler that will take home the gold championship trophy. My thanks to statistician Don Kerr and Jim Nedelkoff of Southwestern of Hazel Green. I know you wanted to be here as a coach and not as a sports analyst, but you've done a good job, and we appreciate you sitting in on the Class C games.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity, Ken.
70 to 50, excuse me, go ahead.
Really been a good experience.
It's going to experience to watch Kohler win another state championship. We'll be going back to Jay Wilson and WIA Sports Spectrum in a moment. The final again, Kohler 70, Fall Creek 57. We're coming back after we hear from the folks who sponsor this telecast. This is your WIAA network station.
A Spectrum. Kohler is the 1983 Class C boys basketball champion. The Blue Bombers beat Fall Creek 70-57. It's the third title in the last 4 years for Kohler.